a big star.
Welcome back to the weekend show. Today we're discussing security challenges in Nigeria. There are many causes of security challenges. Some are poor system of governance, weak judicial system, bribery and corruption, state of origin, indigeneship syndrome, wasteful resources, religious fanatics, political praise singers, and unemployment. Today we have on the program Indi Kato, who is the Deputy Organizing Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We also have Dodoye Arikbo, who is the CEO of the Wyden Court International Limited Corporation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So when we think of the security challenges Nigeria is passing through, I was really heartbroken over the Christmas holiday to see that in Zamfara State, while though some of us were privileged to be celebrating the Christmas season and bringing the new year in a very peaceful atmosphere, people were dying, people were being killed daily. Even our soldiers were being massacred. What would you attribute this continuous security challenges to, Indy?
I think there's a lack of justice in Nigeria, lack of implementation of anything, to be very honest. People have learned to interpret the law for themselves and just carried on like that. And then the average Nigerian is desensitized. So our silence keeps emboldening this, because the more we stay silent, the more we normalize this. Like we said, we were still celebrating. Yeah. In the United States, such an attack, Christmas is done. Everybody rounds up and everybody rallies around, you know. But Nigeria, we stay silent. We continue with our lives. We have normalized it. It's those people, the commoners, the poor people far away. And we just shut our eyes. I think that emboldens security to not step up, emboldens the people who are doing it to continue, and it becomes a vicious cycle.
But the question begs, what can we do? You know, what can we as ordinary citizens do? Because it's easy to attribute our security challenges to the government, you know, but what can we as, you know, everyday Nigerians do? But before you answer that question, I'd like our viewers to know that our phone lines are open. The number is 080-333, that's 433333, 4770. That's 080-3333, 4770. Call us and share your thoughts on these issues. So to you, Dodoye, what can we do as Nigerians to curtail the security issues in Nigeria?
I think basically we must try and hold our representatives accountable. I think most of what has caused the insecurity is a gradual declining of representation and governance. You know, it's a steady decline. If you look across the years, you can see representation and governance is dropping. And people are not holding the leaders to account. And so for us, there's hardly anything you're going to do, because you don't have a gun, you are not trained in security. But there are certain things that cause insecurity. And like I said, if you talk about declining quality of representation, for we as people, we must hold our leaders accountable.
Okay.
And so if we are sending representatives, you need to talk to them. You need to be able to tell them there's something we want, and our representation must be better.
Okay. We have a call. Your name and where are you calling from, please? Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from? Okay, sorry. Okay. Sorry, we lost that call. You're going to ask a question, Joseph.
Yeah. The insurgency in the north, then armed robbery and kidnapping in the south. Do you think the forthcoming elections are contributing factors to some of these incidences?
I'm not sure it's the coming elections, actually, because these are things we've had. I mean, insurgency in the northeast has been with us for like 10 years now, so you can't say it's the elections. But I am too sure that it's going to get worse going into the elections. When you hear stories of certain places not being taken over by Boko Haram, and the issues probably in Zamfara, you're going to find a situation where probably some subversive elements will surely probably capitalize on that to want to cause trouble during the elections. Okay. So it's something that will definitely come up. But I'm not sure that is the reason why because we've not had elections over a period of time, but these things have been there.
I see. We have another call. Hello. Your name and where are you calling from, please?
Hello, I'm calling from Maraba.
Okay. What's your name, please?
My name is Henry Okoy.
Henry Okoye. Okay. What's your contribution to this discussion?
No, I just want to greet my brother Dodi. Tell him that I love my brother being on there.
Thank you very much.
Henry Okoy.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam. All right. We have another call coming in. Hello? Hello? Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from, please? Sorry, we can't hear you. Hello? Hello? Yes, your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Sophie. I'm calling from Makani, Benue State.
All right. What's your contribution to this discussion?
Okay, my contribution to this discussion is that, you see, the issue of insecurities. For every area in Nigeria, there are specific people that know whatever. Okay, my contribution is that for every security issues, we have a particular set of individuals in every area that know what usually happens in that area. But you know, because we are so sentimental in this country, immediately some of our members or some people we know are involved in a particular crime, we just choose to hide these people. Even this issue of Boko Haram, it's not like most of them are strangers. There were people around that area that their parents knew, neighbors knew. But because of sentiment and religion, they allow this thing to grow to a point that it's not affecting everybody. And it will surprise Nigerians to know that as it's in the north, before we know it, this thing will come to every part of Nigeria. So I'm urging parents, I'm urging uncles, whoever you are, whatever is not good is not good. We should all frown at any violence in this country because it will come to everybody.
Thank you.
That's just my contribution for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Indy, you heard that. We are also complicit in perpetrating this crime, in promoting it. You're from Southern Kaduna, one of, I believe, the most vulnerable towns right now in Nigeria. I went to Southern Kaduna in the beginning of last year and I saw what was happening with my 2 eyes. As a matter of fact, a couple of people I interviewed, out of 5 of them, 2 of them are dead today due to the Southern Kaduna crisis. So would you agree with her, the last caller?
Of course I do. In our Peace and Conflict Resolution Committee work in Southern Kaduna, one of the things we pointed out, and like I said, injustice. And what does injustice do? It leaves the interpretation of the law to the people. So if someone enters my farm and burns everything and kills someone, I know that if I go to police, depends on who I meet there. If the policeman is from the tribe of the person that came and burnt my farm, nothing is going to happen. I may likely be killed at the police station. That is the nature of Nigeria. So what happens? You've lost faith in the law, you've lost faith in law enforcement, you've lost faith in the government. So you're now a government unto yourself and you interpret laws according to how you deem fit. So even if it's someone just crossing your farm the wrong way, you will attack because that feels like an attack on you, and you know that nobody's coming to protect you. And so what she's talking about is really right. Even law enforcement, even the judge you go to, everything depends on who, from what tribe, from this and that. And that is how we keep breaking down and we keep going back and forth. And I mean, the case of Southern Kaduna, like you said, it has publicized us. And she's from Benue. It's the same thing too. You know that you will not get justice. You know that the media may not be there for you. You know all of these things, and we keep going back and forth.
You said something about tribe.
Yeah.
So what's your take on state security?
Again,
state policing.
Again, even Nigeria is very heterogeneous.
Yeah.
Southern Kaduna itself is heterogeneous. Hell, Benue is heterogeneous. So it depends on who, again, is in charge of the state policing. Kaduna might, let me even take it away from Kaduna to somewhere as generally Christian and as everything as Benue. If it's one side of the divide, it's thief Idoma. If it's a thief person and it's an Idoma side being attacked, you don't even expect the same level of if it's a T village and a Idoma person is in charge of the state security. So Nigerians, we have to come back and talk to ourselves. We have to have a better sense of nationhood, which of course comes from if the state is protecting you, if the nation benefits you. I mean, there is something that promotes that sense of nationhood, that patriotism. So it's a vicious cycle for us, but I think we have to be the first to move, and then the nation answers back. I mean, we are the nation.
Are there sustainable solutions? Because we all know the issues. You know, we could talk about the issues from now till 2050. That wouldn't change the fact that the statistics still show that Nigeria and Congo would house 40% of the world's poorest population.
Yeah. We talk a lot.
80% of the world's poorest people will live in Africa, on the African continent by 2050. You know, when Vision 2020 came out, we said, oh, that's so far away, we'll get there. 2020 is just next year. 2050 will just be around the corner. So what are solutions to these issues? These security issues are stifling development, they're stifling infrastructural growth, they're stifling, you know, the ability for us to alleviate poverty in majority of our citizens. So what are solutions? And as we can see, it's not just the government, it starts with us. It starts with me identifying as a Benin girl. It starts with you identifying as whatever it is you are. So how do we build that spirit of nationhood? How do we build patriotism amongst Nigerians so we can also add our quota in developing our nation and reducing the security challenges that we see today?
I want to flow with what she said. The sense of injustice must be addressed. If, as long as you don't have justice, we are going to be having this problem. And so we must find a way where we can bring back justice in our system, in the way we operate with our different ethnic groups. That builds patriotism, because I think that that's another thing we've lost. I mean, across board, whether it's in the security services, whether it's in the polity itself, there's no high degree of patriotism anymore. And I think government too must be able to bring out sustainable peace-building strategies. You know, there shouldn't be these short-term things. I mean, you go to Benue and somebody feels aggrieved, you call them 1 or 2 days. After that, it goes back to the normal business as usual. There should be sustainable strategies that keep, the discourse going. So we are not going to come back 2 years later and start looking back to check one government white paper or writing a new one, when there are so many that have been written already that we've not even acted on. Because if you go back to our archives, I'm sure solutions have been offered several times with several government white papers that have never been implemented. And so there's nothing sustainable unless we bring back something that is quite sustainable, that gives people a sense of justice, a sense of community in Nigeria. Then, we are just going to keep going around in circles. So it's something that the government, and I think that's why sometimes you have agencies like the National Orientation Agency, because those agencies are meant to bring about some level of reorientation in the society, to give people a more definable sense of belonging for in Nigeria.
But you know, the reason why I keep shifting from government, because government can only play a limited role in brokering this peace. When I went to southern Kaduna, I visited Goska and Dangoma. We were the first media house to visit the predominantly Fulani community over there. And we spoke to them about why these issues keep arising. And we noticed that there's a miscommunication between both communities, Goska and Dangoma. The Fulani people believe that the Christians want to overtake their land, that their land is the God-giving, it was God-giving to them. The Christian community feels like the government is aiding the Fulanis to attack their community. But we noticed that there was a huge communication gap about the reality on ground. What they said to us sometimes contradicted what the reality really was. So how do we as individuals, with our own preconceived notions, our own tribal prejudices, how do we broker peace amongst ourselves, aside the government? I know the government plays a key role, but what do we do as a people?
I think that we talk a lot. We've had all those peace and conflict resolution committees and all that. And as an aside, I do support state policing, despite all of that. I do support that. Back to this is that we have done all of that talking, but there's no sincerity of purpose behind any of this. Someone somewhere is not saying the truth. Someone is not, you know, attacking this as should be. There is an underlying story. There are issues that are not being dealt with. We go and sit there and we do all of, every time I go, the older ones always do, you know, we all attended the same schools, we're friends, my wife married his aunt, something. And they all laugh and it looks like everything is okay. But then after we leave, there is another attack. So there are no solutions from these peace and conflict resolution committees. And I think the reason is that we're not addressing the key issues that, you know, are wrong with Nigeria. We're not addressing the heterogeneous nature of Nigeria. And what I would like to always refer to as the others, especially if you're looking at this, you know, the killings in Nigeria and everything, you know, none of us here is Hausa, Igbo, or Yoruba, and we're hardly in the Nigerian conversation. And you cannot have a country that continues to deal on injustice, continues to shut down a majority of its people, actually, if you look at the fact that there are over 200 tribes in this country, and the others constitute those over 200 tribes. Nigeria does not refer to these people. Nigeria continually allows attacks and all of that. And some of these tribes, I think 2 autochthonous tribes in Nigeria have become extinct. Nobody knows them. Nobody's talking about these things. You cannot continue to silence killing, silence injustice, silence the voices of people who matter. Watch them being exterminated and then expect that peace will reign. The thing is that injustice against my people or against your people or anything, you're allowed to continue to sail. It will eventually come to others and then it becomes normal. So we have to call it out. We have to preserve, to have the Nigerian conversation. To me, you have to bring everyone to the table, no matter how small. We're 10,000 in my tribe. I keep saying this thing. No matter how small, I belong on that table. I want to decide what happens in Nigeria. You cannot just hush me under a larger tribe. I want to decide. I want to be heard. I want to be taken seriously. And if you allow me to get killed, you normalize killing. It will happen to you too. I think that's where we are at.
We have another caller coming in. Your name and where are you calling from, please? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ephraim Goje. I'm calling from Kaduna.
Okay.
I want to contribute to the ongoing discussion.
Go ahead, please.
Indeed, good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
And well done. Osasu, well done.
Thank you so much.
I'm happy to hear what you are contributing.
Mm-hmm.
I come from southern Kaduna. I am happy you've been there before, and I'm happy to inform you that Indy has contributed so much to peace building in that community. The discussion going on is of interest because I have been a community leader there. We have lived in peace with all the communities in that area for hundreds of years. And several things recently just got wrong. Mutual distrust amongst the people, as has been highlighted earlier. The killing is strange to us. And unfortunately, nobody has been brought to book. And since this thing is ongoing, the cycle repeats itself. Now, but what is the way out? Yes, I agree with the contribution of some of you that first we need to encourage peaceful coexistence amongst the diverse communities in Kaduna. I am particular, and I think this applies to other communities like Benue and the rest. Then secondly, I am a complete advocate of community policing. The communities have to be involved in the policing because it's like something has just gone wrong. People have lost confidence in the security agencies. People don't trust the security agents.
Thank you, sir.
There is a compromise somewhere.
Most definitely. Thank you, sir, for your contribution. So you heard what he said, community policing as a sustainable solution and also bringing other people to the table, irrespective of your majority or your minority tribe, to prefer solutions. Your very last words, please. I'll start with you, Dodoye.
Well, I think Ndi is advocating for another national conference. Maybe that's what she's doing.
I think we've talked enough.
Because, like you said, if everybody is not carried along in this issue called security in Nigeria, then definitely we are going to keep going around in circles, like I spoke earlier. But community policing definitely is something we should explore. I think for too long we've played the ostrich, trying to run away from change. I mean, security is dynamic, so we just can't stay in one straight-jacketed form of it. So I think these are solutions we can actually look at.
Okay, Indy?
The community policing thing, you know, he stated it. I think he should be from Benue.
No, I'm actually from Edo State.
Oh, Edo, oh, okay. I thought I had another. Well, community policing, because if we don't do that, we'll end up with militias. I think it's important to look at that angle because people are already taking arms in their communities to protect themselves. You know, places like Benue, people trust, I've forgotten his name, he has this nickname thing. People trust them better. You're hearing cases of Lagos with MC Oluoma and co. So if we don't do something about this, in 40, 50 years, I don't think that long, 20 years time, we'll have pockets of militias all over the country, and that is not sustainable. I think that we need to break it down to police, to community policing. People should be involved in their own safety. We should have civilian joint task force, but especially that community policing thing, it matters to us. I don't want to wake up and say a policeman that did not grow up in my area, cannot relate, is there as a stranger and treats me like a stranger. That doesn't work at all.
Indeed, Odoye, thank you so much for your time. We'll take a break right now. When return, the sports segment of the Weekend Show. Don't forget, join this conversation on our social media handles at Weekend Show NG and visit our website weekendshowng.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Weekend Show.
DAR Communications invites you to the 3rd DAR Awards, holding on the 19th of January 2019 at the International Conference Center, Abuja. This most anticipated event will celebrate leaders and outstanding contributors to all sectors of industry and communities in this great nation, with great entertainment from Two-Face, DJ Jimmy Jat, DJ Neptune, and many more. The 3rd DAR Awards.